Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome to another stream. Yeah, we're not in Nightfall today. We've decided, I want to keep going with this back piece. So basically, what you guys are going to be able to do here is have fun with me when this stupid error hits again and kicks me out of the personal story. That's going to be cool, right? So, if anybody missed the previous stream we did, we're going for the final order backpack. I need to get to... I can't remember. There's a certain mission. I think it might be a Tangled Depths mission, actually. We have to finish that mission to basically start the collection or something. Which is cool, except that the mission we're currently on is a fairly long one with some cutscenes at the end, and those cutscenes are fairly liable to kick me out, which is very cool. So we'll see how that goes. I was planning on them this being NA, except about an hour ago for some footage for another video. Where is the personal story guiding me to? I relogged over to... Oh, wait, did I go to EU or am I still in A? Yeah, I went to EU. I went to EU about an hour ago to get footage for something. So we'll see how it goes. Also, this is far too loud. Stupid effects volumes. Go down. Damn it. Anyway, hope you guys are all doing good. Hope we're all having a good day. Tonight's video should be up pretty soon. Hopefully. Ended up being so much work. I've got to figure out what kind of videos I can actually afford to make, because some of these things are just brutal at the moment, like way too much effort. You know, when we're talking about 2 days to create a single production, it's just not worth it sometimes. It's just not. So yeah, we'll see. There was something else I needed to do. I thought I bookmarked that. Hold on 1 second, guys. But yeah, no more saltiness today over the wood thing. I've had quite a few people joking about it. So, love you guys for this. Right, here we go, let's remove this. Oh man, this is annoying. Whatever, we'll just leave that stuff. We'll just leave that, that's fine. Anyway, where were we? I don't mind spending more time on a video, but if spending more time on a video means that you know, it's multiple days of waiting for it to come out and then there's nothing in the meantime, I think that's where I think that's the mistake most people make. So I'm trying not to do that. Somebody sent me a message. Hey WP, can you do me a big favor? It's important. I'd write you everything, but it's kind of a long story. So if you have time or are interested, I could send you a TSIP or something. It's not a name I recognize. I've just responded to them saying, just send me a wall of text. Because, hey, that'll be fun, right? Alright, so we're going to do this mission again. You guys are going to sit through the pain with me. This is what the streams are going to be, alright? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate my audience now to feel the pain of this stupid bug. So that everybody gets unnecessarily angry about it and it gets fixed. It'll be great. Have you got a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior drinking bleach? Oh my gosh. Price of salt going up and low WP. What? What do you mean? But yeah, we're going to be doing Heartthorn stuff. We're going to be going through HOT. We're going to be seeing some of the nice places. We're going to keep our eye out. I'm sort of dreading in some... I'm very excited in some ways. But I'm also dreading in other ways the beauty of Tyria in Heart of Thorns video. Because, I mean, in all honesty, it just feels like no matter where I look, I can toggle the UI off. And it's like, oh, that's good. That's good enough. And it's like, I hate it when you feel like you're in that place because obviously you want to strive for the best. But like, it just feels like, you know, how is this objectively so much worse than this? I think this second one is better. But it's so annoying. It's like, I'm really scared because there's so many beautiful areas in Heart of Thorns. So many. Like, these maps are ridiculous. I'm really looking forward, and I'm sure the devs are looking forward too, I'm looking forward to them just like going back to more simple maps that you know, you can appreciate the beauty and move on instead of just like every little second is just so densely packed with just exploiting Twitch viewers to complain about bugs. It's nice to see you, Flaganti. Very nice to see you. And so yeah, if you saw this yesterday, you're gonna see it again because I have to play it twice. And yeah. So today's video, I'll talk a little bit more about it since it's gonna be going up soon. It's rendering right now on the render PC. So basically, what's going on is it's about Rata Novus, and it's about just like the general story there and the mysteries that are going on there. And specifically Zin. Like, I wanted to focus on Zin. People keep trying to draw these comparisons to Fractals and the Mists, and I do my little bit on that as well. But I mean, I think generally speaking, all that stuff's hokum. I don't I don't think there's any real significance to that fractal. Essentially, what I think that fractal is it's a good demonstration of the fractals and the mists of Tyria being erratic and weird and quirky, and that's it. And there's little more to it than that. But, you know, I discussed some of the theories. Like, some people like to think that that fractal is like... It's like Rata Novus after it was, like airlifted into the sky, and then it got destroyed and crashed, because there's some dialogue of an Asura who happens to say falling amid the rest of his gibberish, and I don't buy any of it. I don't, like, it just doesn't work. The technology doesn't line up. The fact that Dessa knows about, like, the consortium and knows about modern day Tyria, and yet Rata Novus was destroyed 150 years ago, it doesn't make any sense. I hated how this... Valen says, I hate how this is basically the last place they reference Ritlock's journey into the mist. From here on, they just assume everything is normal. Yeah, they do. You're right. I think they do mention it a little bit towards the end, don't they? Alright, I've got to figure out what I'm doing, because the gameplay was pretty painful yesterday as well. Obviously, we can interrupt those guys at any point we like, so we'll just have to pay some attention there. Maybe we should get the signet for some more... Maybe we should use the other dodge roll. I don't know. Maybe that would be smarter. It's amazing how squishy I feel. I mean, obviously I'm a thief. I'm very squishy on a thief. I don't need to be reminded of that. Oh, that was great. Did you guys see that dodge roll damage off of the shadow step? That was cool. But yeah, so more I'm focusing on Zin. So for a crash course for those that don't know about him, he was a Guild Wars 1 character that they sort of introduced in the Guild Wars 1 Living World. So after Eye of the North, so well in mind of Guild Wars 2. And with Zin, the first thing they did was they established a mystery where basically he's a Golomancer. He was an apprentice to another powerful Golomancer we need from the first game, a woman named Oola. And Oola gets him banished from the world and from Asuran society. Because basically she's threatened by him as far as I'm concerned, and she's intimidated by him, which is all well and good. But they set up like this mystery where there's some guy who provided power crystals to Zin and caused those golems that Zin created to attack the like key human leaders. It's really interesting. And they set up that mystery, but it's never been resolved. And now in Heart of Thorns and Guild Wars 2, all of a sudden Zin's like in the picture a bit more now. Or at least it's being mentioned. So, I don't know. I think they may be finally going back to that mystery there. I really do. And essentially what I think is that there's a door you can find in it. There's an achievement to find a secret door called New Horizons. You guys might know about it. It's actually one of my favorite achievements in all of Heart of Thorns. It's really cool the way they do it. It reminds me of the Halo 3 terminals. It's very cool. And in this achievement, you find another exit to Rata Novus. And it would seem that the people of Rata Novus didn't flee. They may have just gone deeper down into the inner city through this Asura gate. And they're in like another section of the city. How is that no valid path? Are you joking? And it would seem that this is the story they're going for. So, and here's the funny thing. Oola, who got Zin banished in the first place and never liked him, both of them Golomancers, both of them end up doing research into souls and necromancy. There's a trinket in Guild Wars 2, an ascended trinket, and the flavor text reads, Zin's research into souls. And don't forget that Rata Novus was a haven for questionable research. So what I believe happened is Zin founded Rata Novus so that he could further his Golomancing powers and understanding, and started like participating in sort of dark magic, just like Oola did. But the funny thing about Oola is still on Tyria. You can meet her ghost in Metrica province. She's still there. So I like the idea that these rivals, these once upon a time long rivals, can once again, you know, that they might both still be in the story. Zin might still be there in Rata Novus. There's no end to Zin's story, right? Like the devs say that he founded the city, and then what do they say? Nothing. So I think he could be in the inner city, or his soul could be in the city. I think he went down the path of necromancy. I think that's got some really cool parallels with the fact that we're currently looking at so much soul-based stuff in the Forsaken Thicket and with the Missar. It's really cool. Time's immense. Oh my! I'm gonna have to tell you to stop, aren't I? Wow. Time's event is the ultra spud of the day. Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, it's not just the hero point that I'm talking about. It's not just the Oola hero point. It is the It is the fact that there's a dynamic event there, which, by the way, the devs just made a change to in one of the most recent patches, where you can buy on the trading post entrance to this lab. Is that a coincidence? Maybe. But they literally just made a change to that event. And you can go in there and see Oola's ghost and stuff. And there are multiple references to Zin in there. Come on. I reckon there's something going on there. I reckon Zin might be in Living World Season 3. And so that's the video I did, where I'm generally sort of just talking about these ideas. Pokey3 said, let the donation wars begin. It's really weird. I can't tell you how much I appreciate what Times Event's doing here. Yeah, trying to get a bit of fighting going over it. Yeah, the key is really hard to find. It costs about $1 on the TP. But yeah, it's really interesting. I think that basically the Forsaken, and I don't say it explicit enough in the video, so I'm a little upset with myself that I don't explain it better. But I think basically the Forsaken Thicket is setting up the stuff with the Masar and the fact that the Masar were great manipulators of souls and Golomancy too. And I think basically the idea is that the Asura went on the same path that the Masar did. It's just the Masar, this ancient race that did a long time ago, found out how you can use souls to breathe life out of death. I mean, hell, that's exactly what Oola was looking at. So, yeah, I think these would be really interesting places to go and tie it all together, right? Like the raid story with the living world. There's even mentions from Oola that she was hanging out with Livia for a while. In her lab, she talks about Livia. Livia being another great necromancer. We're going to go through this a bit quicker this time because we actually remember what the hell we're doing. Yeah, he's down again. Can I not take from this box again? Oh, I could. Just as I blinked away, it allowed me to. Cool, I must have been quite tired yesterday, because this was not so natural for me. Oh my god, the duck. Ah, the duck scares the hell out of me. Someone got the rare proc on the duck, Sebastian. Thank you, Sebastian. What is going on? Thank you very much, Sebastian. I really appreciate that. For those that don't know, the duck is a random rare chance to appear when someone donates, and only on donations. I set it up the other day, and like I think that's the 3rd time it's ever appeared. And it plays really loud in my speakers. I was like, what is that? That's scary. The thing is, my PC's... I think I might have fixed the random shutting down on my PC as well, guys, which I'm super happy about. But now I'm getting like all these out-of-memory errors and stuff. It's just so annoying. Alright, yeah, and the new rule basically, guys, is if you do appear on that list, the donations list at the end of the stream, I will take your requests for future potatoes to draw. I think we got quite a few yesterday. We got like 3 yesterday, I think. And I apologize in advance if I miss it. And I miss your thing. Oh, I thought that was just targeted, not ground targeted. Oh well. Let's blow him up with more ordnance. I do love the ordnance. It's cool. The CC chains. Boom, boom. Lovely. And now he's dead. My god, the friggin' quacking. Scary, scary stuff. Oh, okay, so this person said pizza delivery came, sorry. I don't know what this someone's sending me all these weird random messages about like he wrote me, and without going into detail, I have screenshots. I'm German. He was asking me pretty intimate questions regarding age, where I live. What the hell? And if I had sex with my boyfriend and stuff like that. Why are you telling me this? And through me, everyone in Twitch as well right now. Why? What? I just wish they would follow up on them. Arena is unfortunately in the habit of putting in small stories and not finishing them. Well, here was a video concept I was hashing out 2 days ago. Again, trying to figure out, you know, what can you make videos on? What can you talk about? What's going on? And one idea, I ended up scrapping it. I've still got the file, just in case one day it strikes me as a little bit more interesting, but I'm not too sure. But one of the concepts for a video I was thinking of making along that line was, I was thinking, okay, small stories. What if I do a video where I establish what all the current mysteries are? Alright, isn't that an interesting idea? What are all the mysteries? People are so quick to jump at ArenaNet, right? Me included. I have a bit of a habit of saying that, where I'm like, people, blah, 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 and I get to separate myself. Me included, alright, I'll admit it. Jump at ArenaNet for dropping stories and not honouring the mysteries they set up, right? And, you know, accusing them of having forgotten. This kind of stuff. Well, let's do it then. Let's get down in the mud. Let's prove we're better, and let's think of all the mysteries. That would be the idea of the video. And so I thought to myself, all right, you only know this is a good concept if you can very quickly rattle off like a lot. So I opened up Notepad, and I wrote on Notepad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20. And I said to myself, right, WP, if you can do 20 mysteries, just right off the top of your head, maybe there's a video in it. And the reasons I chose not to do the video were more like production-based things. But so here's the 20 mysteries. I never actually got to 20 before I decided not to do the video. I got to 17. So here we go. Ready? These are the current mysteries, the small stories that Arena have a habit of not answering, right? In theory. So I put number 1, who is E? Number 2, who gave the Zephyrites, the Master of Peace of the Zephyrites in Glint's Lair, the egg? Remember that from Season 2? Who did that? Speaking of Season 2, who was the mysterious stranger who was watching you in the cave where you have, like, the flamethrower optional achievement? Remember that? Remember that mysterious stranger who watches you? Where did Ritlock go in the mists? And where did he get blinded? How did he get blinded? I actually think those are... They're two different mysteries. They may be the same, two halves of the same story, but they're different mysteries. Where he went in the mist, what he did, who he interacted with, blah, blah, blah. And then also the very distinct moment of him getting blinded. They're different mysteries. I get it if you think that's a bit of a stretch. But how did he get blinded? Number 6, what is it that's supposedly on Marjorie and Casmire's minds that they allude to at the end of Heart of Thorns? Number 7, what did Timey discover in Rata Novus? And largely it was that I ended up fixating on and ended up doing this Guild of 2 mysteries. Number 8, where did the Rata Novans go? Number 9, what is the fate of the Pale Tree? Don't forget, she's still wounded from Season 2. Literally, I mean, so many of these plots deserve to go forward in Heart of Thorns, so they didn't. But, I mean, Season 2 happened, and she's still, you know, dying there. Isn't it crazy that the Pale Tree essentially had not a single line of dialogue in the entire Sylvari-based expansion? Can you imagine a Char expansion where Smoda doesn't say a word? Or Newt doesn't say a word, or Jenna doesn't say a word in those respective expansions? Can you imagine that? Like, really? Mental. Mental. Some little things you look at, you're like, wow. Anyway, yeah, what's the fate of the Pale Tree? How's she doing? I mean, we have rough ideas, we know, but that's like a mystery of, will she fully recover? How has this affected her? And by extension, the fate of the Sylvari, right? But I didn't do those as separate questions. Number 10, what's the fate of the Nightmare Court? Number 11, an extension of this. Who is Duchess Chrysanthia? What was her story? Is she becoming the Grand Duchess to replace Fowlane? What's going on there? Number 12, when will Glint's Edge hatch? An extension of that. Number 13, how will it even assist us if it's just a little baby dragon? Number 14, what is the rest of Glint's legacy? Because it was explicitly said it's not just the egg, it's more than that. Number 15, what's happening in the Forsaken Thicket? Number 16, by extension, why are the White Mantle active again? Number 17, where is Malik and his people? What are they doing? So these were all like super contemporary. Hey, this is all living. This is like these are the big questions that probably Living World's going to go into. So maybe this isn't even very good for the idea of small stories. But yeah, so that was 17. I just got off the top of my head straight away, and I want all of those to get answered. You'd expect all of them to. But what do you guys think? Out of those 17 I just said, what are the odds one's going to slip through the cracks? What do you think about that? Another mystery. Why didn't Bram press F on air? Alright, this... I'm telling you this because a few days later, our RL friend of mine sent me a message where he did it again. He was changing his age and stuff, and I suppose it could... What? Could be a paedophile or something. And I just wanted to ask if you could raise awareness of this because you have a reach inside the community. Because this guy was more than suspicious, and apparently he's overdoing it and over. Apparently someone's got a problem with someone they met on Guild Wars 2, and it's my job to let you guys know about that. So yeah, watch out for scary people on the game. And yeah. Oh, we didn't get kicked, thank God. ADLSY said, I think that mystery's going to get milked for a long time. I think you're right. Well, I don't know, milked isn't the right word, okay? Wait, you're not milking it if you're letting it breathe and you're letting people get excited about it. That's not milking it. I think that's an unfair way to, like, just negatively express, like, yeah, it's cool. If they've got a cool mystery, let them play with the mystery, right? Let them hold it over our heads. If they don't, it doesn't get a chance to flourish. This is a great cutscene, by the way. I really do like this cutscene. there's problems. They look like Sims, and you know they could do a bit better with certain things. And maybe you don't like the narrative direction. Maybe you don't like that they chose to kill Air here. But this is a great cutscene. I love the way they do it. I love Foul Lane turning against her. This is what I'm talking about. When I genuinely, this cutscene is like so much better than anything the core game offered. Like way better. I think it is. It's really hard to deny that. I think some people get mixed up, like, oh no, it's not a good cutscene because Air dies. Ignore that for a second. Talk about the actual implementation of this cutscene, the decisions they made with the way that Foul Lane acts as a character. Look at that. She's pissed off. It's a great cutscene. It's a good cutscene. And, you know, if the game had the majority cutscenes like this, we'd be in a really good place. This is good shit. And ArenaNet deserve applause for this. And that's why I tried to make that quite clear in my review of the story. Because I really do think, even now, my opinion hasn't changed on that. It's fucking good. I wish those cutscenes were in engine, though, and not low bitrate videos. That's true, yeah. I think they're like 720p videos as well. They're quite low res. And this is a fairly frustrating thing when you start playing on higher and higher resolutions. It gets more and more noticeable. Also, if it was in engine, I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, they should be in engine, without actually knowing what that would cost. But it would help them get around some other problems, like the cutscene where Ritlock comes back from the mists. This cutscene is like supposed to be happening at night or whatever, or the instances at night. But when you actually see it in game, but basically in game it's night, but the cutscene itself is day. So it's just so jarring, and you know, little issues like that they'd be able to avoid. I don't know. Maybe they need just a new system in general. There's a lot of little things about the way you interact with NPCs that can be quite frustrating in this game. You know the nice touch. There's blood on that guy's tail. Oh, when you fight him, is he a totally unique asset? By the way, I can still, at this point, get kicked out. It happened to me twice when I was playing with my girlfriend at launch. We got kicked out. Wouldn't making them in-engine make them unskippable since characters will have to actually move around? That's a good point, yeah. But it doesn't necessarily make it unskippable. I don't think. In general, I think the devs found a much better balance for telling the story. Their mix of running around and having characters like this could have been, if this was a personal story, sorry, you guys know what this would have been. This would have been a side-by-side cutscene right now. That's what. Ah, see, I told you. I told you. We have to do it again. What more is there to it? Do you know? Ah, I told you I can get kicked from this. I think there's another cutscene that plays there. Do you guys see the pain here? Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you know how hard it was to enjoy Heart of Thorns when it came out because I kept getting hit by this? I think one of the most professional things I've ever done as a YouTuber, okay, is when I reviewed this game, I did not let my saltiness at this bug get in the way of reasonable discussion about the story and stuff, because I knew it was only hitting me. You don't hear people bitch about this much, but I am, because there's not many people get hit with this. It's painful to watch. It's painful to play, Noodle Fox. Look at this. This is outright. We got to do it again. May as well have just started the stream here. May as well. Turtle Moji said, are there Asura living in Cantha with potatoes? In theory, there was Asuran activity. Now, today's video, I'm going to read an excerpt from Asura Week, where there is some lore about one of the old capital cities of the Asura deep beneath the ground. Apparently, they had 6 huge cities. One of them was called Kora Sum, and some people speculate that Kora Sum was like one of these locations at the start of Eye of the North, where you find that original gate and blah 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 blah. And it was the destruction of Kora Sum, by the way, and all of the information that was lost there that the Inquest hated so much they decided to form their own organization. Kind of interesting. But yeah, maybe there were Asura there. I mean, there was Asura Gate there, so they could have been anywhere, right? Sebastian says, bit off topic, but I really like the Visual Wood gameplay. Got any info? Thanks, man. It's been a bit sad. Visualwood's viewership died pretty hard for Hyperlight Drifter. I guess people don't like the game that much. And it's, you know, it's like 20 or so episodes. I'm about to edit the end of the series this week. That was one of my jobs this week. I was actually supposed to have done it yesterday, I think. But I spent all the time on this Rata Novus thing. What we're doing next, we don't know. Matt really wanted to play Ori. And he wanted to be the one playing, and I would be watching, because Ori, the Enhanced or Definitive Edition or whatever it is, came out. And Ori's a good game, and I played Ori myself too and liked it. But I don't think people want to watch us unless it's like horror or something new. I think basically that's it. I think you have to bandwagon, and it's sickening and it's sad. But I think Matt and I might, I don't know. Oh, the other thing is like co-op. A lot of people want us to play proper co-op games. Or at least do more One Death Pass. And that's what I think as well, actually. I agree. I want to, if we're not playing a co-op game, in my opinion, we should be doing One Death Path. In my opinion, we should. And we didn't with Hyperlight Drifter, and I think that was a bit of a mistake. And Matt's proposition for Ori was that we wouldn't do One Death Pass either. It would just be like a pretty standard Let's Play, basically. With just the two of us chatting as we do it. So I don't know where we are. We've both agreed, because it's pretty depressing when you have a lot of fun and you put a lot of work into something as well, and then it just doesn't. It's not taken off, right? So you got to measure your expectations. You've got to know what you're doing. So we kind of had a bit of a discussion the other day. Like, you've got to be very careful about what game you pick. YouTube really isn't about anything other than the game you pick, unfortunately. So I don't know. We don't have a great idea. It might be you just find Ori anyway. I might meet up with Matt next Thursday, and he and I will just be like, we didn't have any ideas. Let's just do Ori anyway, and that'll be it. Ori is a great game. It is a great game. Sebastian said Visualwood was my go-to video I watch with my laptop while cooking. It really replaces my lack of Visualwood podcast. I'm glad it replaces the podcast, because literally for our lives, our schedules, that's basically what it is. We used to spend about 3 hours meeting up, having a chat, do a podcast on a live stream. Done. Now, we just, the same time, the same day, we meet up, except we just play a video game, and then one of us has to go edit it. And so it's, instead of like 3 hours a week, it's 6 hours a week of work or whatever, in theory. It tends to be more than that. It's more like, no, it's probably around there. It depends how much effort I want to put in on the series. But yeah, anyway, so like it is a replacement for the podcast. So we're pretty happy with it. When was the last time you cleaned out your temp folder? Helps me when I start getting random crashes. Try repairing the game too. I tried repairing the game. I didn't clean out my temp folder. I will admit that I didn't do anything with that. So I don't know. The thing is, this is not only this PC. I got this PC 2016. It must have been 2016 I got this PC. Can't remember. Yeah, it was. It was 2000. I didn't set up the render box, and I didn't set up the second PC, and I didn't set up all this cool shit I've been doing. Oh, what? I didn't rally from that? That's such bollocks. Look, there's like 1 million mobs for these guys to fight, of my allies, and both of the snipers are choosing to shoot at me. What twats. And I don't even want to be here. I've done this so many times. This is where it gets really annoying, right? This is where it gets infuriating. Christ. And you start to get really salty. We'll go again until eventually we manage to get through. What was I talking about? Yeah, no, this is happening on different PCs. For me. I mean, it must be like an ICM thing, maybe. No, it's not, because I've done it without ICM on as well. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, so like, this is a totally new PC, and it does it on it anyway. Welcome, Spectre NSFW. Welcome, welcome. How to increase the story time, just let it crash at the end. Yeah, didn't you guys know that developers deliberately do that? They deliberately leave their bugs in so that people crash out, and you can get away with it. Oh, we need to come up here again first. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to grab some ordnance. Is it just me, or is Zin's secret lab in Auric Basin more of a cave rather than a high-tech lab? Also, poor MOX. I like the big guy. Yeah, but it's just the cave entrance. You aren't actually in the lab. The lab itself is a huge, glorious, beautiful place. The lab itself is really fucking cool. It's even got like some weird like human ruins in there and stuff. In fact, the way I end the video today, spoilers, the way I end it is I point out the entrance to his lab, because we spend the entire video basically talking about Rata Novus and what's so cool about that and Zin's connection to that. But I end the video by pointing out it's not just Rata Novus, it's Zin's secret lab as well, is also a place that we know he'd been and he enjoyed, and it is close by. And in Zin's secret lab in Heart of Thorns, when you visit it, if you speak to the Dermot Priory NPCs just outside the lab, the NPCs, as the commander of the pact, you say to them, oh, look, this is pretty cool, mate. Yeah, it's very cool, but look, we've got Morgemorph to deal with. After this is all over, we'll send some Dermot Priory NPCs here to check it out. And, well, it's over now, isn't it? Morgemorph has been killed. Maybe it's time to send some NPCs to check out Zin's secret lab. Q's Living World Season 3. That's sort of the last little note, the flourish that I end the video on, which I think is pretty interesting. Yeah, the secret lab is in Guild Wars 2, but only the entrance. You can't get in. All you find is a powered down something OX golem. And yeah. WP, do you live in the US? I thought you lived in the UK. No, I live in the UK. Or do I? Maybe I live in France. Yeah, it's there. It's very cool. It's one of the best places in Heart of Thorns. I'm hesitant to say to my favourite, because I think I say my favourite too much in general, and then people... Yeah. So, wait, I thought your favourite was actually that super cool area in Dragon's Stand, blah, blah, blah. The Falls is probably my favourite place in all of Heart of Thorns. Like, as an idea for an environment area. With the guy that plays it, you know, you've got that cool little fun... guy there who you can choose to play the different chords on the banjo. It's beautiful, day and night. It's got a lot of significance in the hearts of Guild Wars 1 players. It's sort of got some cool lore stuff there. It's expansive, it's jungly, it's got, you know, it's graphically impressive. It's a good place. Nice, well balanced. I think you could do a lot worse than that place. Yeah, it's really hot in the UK at the moment. Really hot, yeah. In fact, as I was talking to you guys just now, I put my hand on the top of my PC, which is where my my water cooling block is. Inside the case, obviously. But I'm touching it just to make sure it's not getting too hot. And it is quite hot, and I'm a little concerned. No, it's not the secret dancing place. The secret dancing place is in Rata Novus. It's a different area completely. And it's in Tangled Depths. Different map. Well, unless the secret dancing place is supposed to be inside Zin's lab, in which case I've made a huge oversight and mistake, and the video is basically a steaming pile of dog shit. That's not true, is it? The dancing place isn't supposed to be inside his lab, is it? You know how when you've been forced to replay something, you're angry at it, then you sort of get over it and forget about it. And then every now and then you have like this little moment where you're reminded, oh wait, I'm doing this again. I just had that moment throwing these bombs at this guy. Oh, wait. We're going for it again. That's right. I have no shame in forcing you all to watch this with me. No shame. Have I seen the new Battlefield trailer? No, but I saw some guy do an analysis of it because it was big on Reddit. And I linked it to Matt. Once upon a time, before a podcast, I think it was, the Matt and I were going to do. We had quite a heated debate with one another about the influence of Reddit, alright? Because I get posted on Reddit quite a lot for my videos, and in my opinion, quite often unnecessarily. People will post a Wood Potatoes video that really has no right being on Reddit. I've never posted my own stuff on Reddit, ever. But, you know, it's something that's happened, it's helped me out a lot. And Matt and I had a very heated debate where he was basically saying, yeah, you owe a lot of your success to Reddit. And I was like, oh, come on. Reddit's not that great. Reddit really doesn't improve things that much. And see, I'm a big user of Reddit in general, and I appreciate there are hugely different communities depending on the subreddit you're in, right? Getting posted on R Gaming is completely different to getting posted on, you know, R Jet Set Radio Future. Completely different, right? You know, they have different value levels. And you know, like Matt and I often had quite heated discussions where I'm like, look, there is no Reddit community, you know. There's loads of different communities, but whatever. We had this big discussion about it. And for what it's worth, looking back at the discussion, I do think I had a... how would I describe this? Like, the wrong sense of Reddit. I knew that Reddit had value. I've always known that Reddit had value. But I just didn't think it was, like, super amazing value. Anyway, so ever since this discussion we had, we tend to, like, link each other things to do with it. And so I logged on just the other day, and there was some guy doing an analysis of Battlefield. And the Reddit thread was in our gaming, and it said... Guy does phenomenal review of the trailer, and has almost no views. So this is one of those examples like the hydraulic press channel where, you know, a bunch of people just decide that they like someone and then they're gonna, you know, blow up. So, you know, and it's a review as well, which is what Matt likes to do. So I thought I'd show it to him, and it would be kind of interesting to see how this video did because of Reddit's influence and so on and so on and so on. And whether Matt actually thought it was a good review or not, or whether it was just kind of crappy, but because it's talking about a bandwagony subject right now, that's really why people, you know, and stuff like that. It's always fun. I just became aware, right towards the end of that story, how boring that story is for most people. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, I call them chips. Yeah, chips. Those fries would be chips. But you can say fries when it comes to, like, if you're going, like, getting KFC or McDonald's or whatever, you might say fries anyway. Just because, like, these are American branches and franchises that have come to the UK, so there's a bit of crossover. Outerluck says a lot of YouTube careers can easily start on Reddit. It's a big thing to make it the top. Yeah, it is, and you'd be surprised how often people are manipulating things. For example, this Battlefield thread that says, this guy's done an amazing video, has no views. If you look at the account of the guy who posted it, he was spamming that thing up hard. He'd gone to, like, multiple different subreddits and posted the same video over and over and over and over and over again. What you'll probably find is it was someone's friend who's like, oh, can you post this for me, please? Or sometimes it will just be someone being outright deceitful and they're pretending to have found this video, but it's actually their video. That happens all the time. And often does very well. I read a really interesting post about when Batman v Superman came out. People were talking about how on Metacritic there had been a load of posts from fake accounts and just, like, nonsense, like with no history, and the usernames were just random strings of letters. There'd been loads of posts all about how amazing this movie supposedly was, and someone was talking about how it's just a fact that certain industries, it is not uncommon for them to hire what are called virtual assistants. I believe they're known as virtual assistants. And what a virtual assistant is it's some poor person in, like, a third world country who's got access to the internet, and you pay them a pittance an hour to spend their entire working day making fake accounts and plugging your stuff in appropriate areas. So, like, you know, going to Metacritic and saying that this TV show is better than it actually is, going to TripAdvisor and saying your hotel is better than it actually is, just because people know, you know, it's well known that the best marketing is word of mouth marketing, and is from you know, opinions you respect. Or like Amazon reviews, product reviews on Amazon. They'll pretend to be a user who's bought this thing, and they'll say, hey, it's good for X, Y, or Z, or, you know. But most of the time it's bullshit, and I guarantee you there are people who will do that on YouTube. I'm not sure how you'd go about it, but if you want to be YouTube successful enough, there are some pretty smarmy, disgusting ways that people will do it, because, hey, the money is ludicrous in the end. You know, you see some of these big YouTubers get hacked and their PayPals get released. There was that guy who was streaming. Some streamer with just, I think we talked about this on the stream already. Some streamer with, like, a crazy amount of cash. You know, like, when we're dealing with this very real kind of money, people will go to pretty deceitful methods. And the wool is quite successfully pulled over your average person's eyes most of the time, I'd say. Sadly. That's why I've always liked sniffing my own farts about the way I do things. I've always been like, yeah, just let the content speak for itself. Don't do any of this other stuff. No sub for sub or box for box. Back in the classic days, this was where it was. You know. Don't worry about that. Just, you'll grow if the content's good enough. Yeah. And I like to, you know, act like I'm a cut above and sit on my pedestal because this is my philosophy. When really it's a pretty cutthroat world out there. WP, by way of your stream yesterday about wood fairing conspiracy theories, I have a new one for you. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear the conspiracy. Valen V said, wait, are you not allowed to post your own content on Reddit? You can. It depends on the rules of the subreddit. That's the thing. It depends on what subreddit is and what people want there. Some people, yeah, will be quite strict about it, and they'll say, no, you shouldn't be here to post your own stuff. Reddit is about posting other people's stuff. That's what it's built on. So they won't let you do it. Other people will say, yeah, you can. If you've built something cool, you think it deserves to be shared to the masses, go for it, mate. But, you know, maybe have a grain of salt. So here's DC number 1. Let's clench our sphincters here and hope we don't get DC'd here. But yeah, so people will say, like, and I think this is the Guild Wars 2 subreddit's rules. It's if you're an active participant in discussion, you genuinely go to that subreddit a lot, you talk about stuff, you plug other people's stuff, you upvote, you downvote, you are a part of the community. It doesn't matter if you post your own thing. However, if you're some, like, slimy wank stain who does nothing and literally just uses Reddit as a platform for viewership and clearly just spams out your own stuff, barely contributes in any thread or discussion you form, and it's only about your own stuff, then the mods will kick your ass back to Timbuktu. You see a lot of communities employ that. That's my understanding anyway. Like I said, I don't really make Reddit threads. The only place you see I'll make a Reddit thread is on Wooden Potatoes. Or if I'm on my personal account. Which I don't post in Guild Wars 2 stuff anyway. It's more about TV shows and like Better Call Saul discussion and shit like that. And geocaching. WP is only streaming Nightfall because ArenaNet's secretly funding him to get people hyped from the Luna-based Living World Season 3. That would be sweet. I'm just going to skip. Oh, okay, good. We're alright. That would be pretty sweet, but no. Actually, I'll be honest. When I started the Guild Wars 1 stuff, or whenever I do a video on Guild Wars 1, there's a lot of people start dropping posts, and they're like, oh, yeah, I think I'll buy this game. I think I'll try this out. And so we have the Buy Heart of Thorns links, and we have the Living World links. So, and the free-to-play links. So, at one point, like, I think at the turn of the year, I went to NC Stuff and I said, can I get a link for Guild Wars 1? You know, if I'm causing all these sales of Guild Wars 1, is that a thing that can happen? And they're like, no, we can't do that. I was like, okay. And then I went off and kept doing the Guild Wars 1 stuff anyway. That's not why I'm doing Guild Wars 1. Still waiting for that geocaching vlogging series. Dude, that would be pretty sweet. Just like you vlog while you're out geocaching. Just find a cache every day. That would be so cool. Oh, that would be really cool. That's like one of those things that would convince me to go do Facecam. Because you just can't do something like that and stay anonymous. But that would be sweet. Did he die in the air? He did. No, he didn't. Okay. Alright, please no crash. Please no. We're just gonna stay in combat mode here. We're gonna keep everything up. We're gonna toggle off reshade. It's not doing anything right now. Did I hear Luna-based expansion? Guild Wars 2 closer to the stars confirmed. What was, Oh yeah, one of the theories I was going to entertain in the video was this idea. Is it because I pressed F on air? Is that what's doing it? Is it pressing F on air that's kicking me out? Oh my god. I just want to... Let me go. This is the last time I have to do this. This had best be fixed when Living World... Oh. Jerry01 said, get someone else to host the mission. It doesn't work, Jerry. That's not how it works. I'll still get kicked out and you can't join in. It doesn't work that way. Because I used to have Kerry host it. It didn't work. Trying it with a group doesn't do anything, guys. I just get kicked out. That's it. You still get kicked out. And the mission ends for them. It's even more frustrating for them, by the way, when they're playing the story, because they're like, come on, I finished this ages ago and you're holding me up now. Grouping does nothing. Grouping would help me get through quicker. Probably. If somebody wants to play, if you want to play with me, the account name is Barradin3164. I don't mind. You can join on me. We'll treat it the same as Fractals. We're currently EU. You can join on and we'll get through it a bit quicker. But make it sharpish if you're going to do it so that we don't have to restart too far in. So annoying though. Anyway, yeah, one of the theories I was going to maybe entertain, oh, we're off for it again, is the idea that the people at the bottom of Rata Novus, they went through the Asura gate. Oh, here, people do want to play. All right, it's EU, again, I'll remind you. They went through the Asura gate to the moon. Right, like they went somewhere out to the star, they went off to the mists. That's where the fractals came from or some shit. You might get kicked, but as long as they say, does your progress say? No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It doesn't work that way. You get kicked out right before the reward dings, and you do not get credit for the personal story step. Have your girlfriend log into your account and have her play it. She's asleep right now. I think she's asleep anyway. Oh, I love this. WP must really like this mission. Yeah, I love it. It's so good. I hope you guys like it as much. Because it was always my plan to come on and do a stream and a half. Because we did it last stream as well. Of entirely this one mission, right? Prisoners of the Dragon. Oh, well done, Arena. This is the best that the game gets. This is the end game right here. I don't know what people are complaining about. I don't know why you need fractals or raids or anything. Just keep doing this over and over and over. This is Guild Wars 2. Alright. Let's see how good these guys are, how quickly they can... WP, what's your favourite game other than Guild Wars? I hate that. How do you answer what your favourite is? Do you know how many games I've played in my life? I actually tried to write a list once. Because I was surprised at how many games I was forgetting about from my childhood. And it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games long. Like hundreds of games. How can I compare them all? Some other franchises I like very much at the moment. I love what Telltale produces. I really like their style of games. I am a pretty big Tomb Raider fan. I am a pretty big Final Fantasy fan. I am a pretty big fan of first-person, like, group-based RPGs. In the vein of Might and Magic or Grimrock, as you guys have seen on the channel. I'm a fan of a lot of shitty and unknown games from consoles when I was younger that generally didn't catch on. And a good example of one I've played on the channel would be like Azuric. Not that Azuric was a shitty game, because I like that game. And you guys might actually start hearing the soundtrack of Azuric in some of the videos. I think I can say I've got it. I just can't say... Yeah. It's good. I wish I could help you with this problem, but I've never had something like this happen. It's been happening to me since a couple of months before Heart of Thorns dropped. Now, what did I start doing a couple of months before Heart of Thorns dropped? I don't know. Have I played Life is Strange? No, but it's funny you say that because that was one of the considerations Matt and I had for Visual Wood. Could be something to do. How do you make an Asura portal? Well, what you do is you put a portal underneath a portal above, and then you just fall through it endlessly, and then you suddenly redirect one of the portals to aim up, and then you get to terminal velocity, and then you fly up. Now, that idea I just told you guys about. So again, think about, so basically one portal is on the floor facing up. Facing down, and the other portal is directly above it, also facing down. So you fall endlessly, right? Very common in... Oh my god, the duck! Ah! I think it's someone like screaming or something. It's scary. Ritlock, are you gonna move, bro? What's going on? Do you want to move? Should we just go up there? Oh my god, so wait, there was a duck. Does that mean we have another Ultra Spud? Oh, yeah, okay, hello. So this is from Lemonizer, who said, my second ever donation on Twitch. Get yourself a potato, it's on me, thank you. I haven't seen you stream in a while. Watching your stream's a nice break from uni. Keep up the good work with Guild Wars 2 videos on YouTube. Thanks, man, I really appreciate that. That means an awful lot. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the same mission over and over and over again. The duck. This is even worse. What's going on now? He's literally bugged. This is it. He's bugged. Ritlox, he's had enough. He's not interested. That's the thing. The more you play the mission, the more suddenly you realise these annoying issues start popping up. Yeah, we have to redo it. Come on, everyone. Out you get. Let's go again. This is so bad. Yeah, no, we were going to play Life is Strange on Visual Wood. We were thinking of it. I think it's a cool game. Oh, yeah. So I was talking about the portal thing. So that portal thing, funnily enough, that idea, you fall infinitely, then you redirect one of the portals and move it up. That idea, I actually built that in Halo 3 Forge on one of the maps. Now, the reason that I did this is a really weird story that I'm going to tell you here. The reason I did this was because Valhalla, out of all the maps, the way that the Bungie had designed these maps, Valhalla, it had like a height limit to the map, so you couldn't go very high up. There was like a solid brick wall. But if you move fast enough, you could actually you could clip through that brick wall, and you could go above it. And beyond that is a kill zone, like an instant death moment that would kill your character anywhere above that. But then, interestingly about Valhalla, most maps had this in place. But what was weird about Valhalla was the play space just kept going after that dead point. It just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up. Not only this, but if you kept going up and up and up, for some bizarre reason, they had like a thing in the lighting engine where the further away from the map you went, higher and higher up this PvP, it would slowly get darker until you basically ended up in outer space. And it was like this reasonably well-known like visual bug thing. It was really fascinating, really interesting. I wanted to get to outer space. So in the early days of the Halo Forge, what I did was I built a map where I had Halo teleporters arranged in a configuration where you'd infinitely fall through them. And there is no such thing as terminal velocity in Halo. So you just go faster and faster and faster to this ridiculous speed. And then what I did was I had another teleporter positioned right at the top of the map, facing up to space, clipping against the height limit, the skybox. So then last of all, I had another character logged in, and with that account, I would swap, or you know, that multiplayer character, I'd swap the output destination of one of my teleporters to the one on the roof. So you'd be moving at terminal velocity, you wouldn't be able to see anymore, and then suddenly you'd flick it, and it would fire your character so hard against this skybox, it would clip you through it, instantly kill you, and then you'd have your respawn set to really long, so the body would just keep flying up and up and up, and you just keep going up and up and up and up for ages until eventually you ended up in out of space. And I was really proud of that map. Took me a long time to tweak it and get it just right, but yeah, that was a little thing that I did. And you could send bodies flying up into space. I wanted to see how high up I could go. And it was crazy how fast you could end up moving. As far as I remember, it was entirely something I'd come up with as well. It wasn't like I'd read on the forums, oh, you could do this technique and this. It was just, I'd heard that you could get into the space area, and I tried this idea with it. That was one of the more fun things I used to do in Halo. I used to love breaking out of maps and stuff. Used to love it. Even when playing Halo, WP was fascinated about getting to space. Dude, I just want to know about the moon. The Tyrian moon? Come on, just tell me about the moon. Give me some stories, all right? Because look, I'm not amazing with Elder Scrolls lore and stuff, right? I do love the franchise. I've played a fair amount of it, but I'm not the best at it, and that's because it's very detailed. But one of the things I love about the Elder Scrolls franchise, and specifically what they do with the story, is you know, the legends and the way that Massa and Secunda, I think they're both called, their two moons, have affected the people. It's so cool. It's so cool. Give me more of that, ArenaNet. Come on, the moon is right there. It will have affected the New Hawk and the Hylek, right? Worship the sun. What do they think about the moon? Tell me. What do they call it? At least with them, you know, have one of your societies influenced by it or affected by it. Have some Asura crew out there who's fascinated by it and wants to get to it. Ah, we were from underground once upon a time, and now we see the sky. And what do we see in the sky? A moon. That is our next objective. We're going to put our mighty Asuran collective brain power to the task of getting to the planets, because these weren't something in our world before we came to the surface, and now we see them and now we're interested. Come on! Like the Asura wouldn't be interested in going to the moon. Of course they would be. Elder Dragon of Cheese. This isn't, honestly, like, it's not about me trying to find the secrets of the eternal alchemy and, you know, the mists and the rift and the physical dimensions of this game's universe versus its magical properties when you get into outer space exploration and stuff. It's got nothing to do with all of that. That stuff's kind of interesting, but also vague and weird, and I kind of like it to stay vague and weird. All I really care about is having some real, legit information about the moon. And one of the things I've loved in my, like, JRPGs as I've grown up, there have been a few things, just stories in general, are the stories where it's like twin worlds, and you know, like the moon is inhabited, right? And the moon has plant life in there, and you sort of eternally look out and you wonder what the people of that world, you know, the completely disconnected worlds, the societies living on them, but there's no connection. Then you find the secret portal that mages built many years ago. What's that JRPG where one of the worlds is like super technologically advanced and powerful and the other one's like basically medieval, and it allows them to do a JRPG setting where it's magic and it's monsters and it's swords, but also they have guns and things? I think it was a GameCube JRPG that I'm talking about. Asura can't be evil. I think anything's got the capacity to be evil. Ooh. I wonder if it's some graphics setting. I mean, this was doing this before I went to 1440p gaming. It was doing it before I went to 144 hertz refresh rate. Not that I'm even at it right now. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm streaming. It's got presumably nothing to do with... I think the most likely culprit is reshade or ICM or the ICM reshade combo. Messing it up somehow. I think these are the likely culprits, but I think it happened on my other... Because I do have just a vanilla client installed. Winter Potatoes, the last 5 Final Fantasy games? See, I stopped playing and caring about Final Fantasy after I found 13 to be fairly deficient in something. I actually liked 13. You're going to hear me be a miserable bastard about it most of the time I talk about it. But I actually did like it. And I specifically remember being quite moved by the final cutscene where Leona Lewis's My Hands played. Which seems like such a dodgy, weird mismatch. Leona Lewis in a Final Fantasy game? Are you mental? No, they're not mental, and it was actually a pretty good cutscene. I remember being quite moved by that, by the end. But there were a lot of things about it that, in retrospect, I didn't like very much. And I recognized I wasn't enjoying myself in the game, but I couldn't identify why until after I'd finished playing. Flaganti said the moon is just a giant cookie made by the Norn. But at some point, the Asura stole the cookie and enlarged it to be a massive scale. And at that moment, the tool for enlarging the cookie created a rift and teleported the cookie to outer space. That makes no sense. Why did it go to outer space? You expect me to believe that trite? And besides, the Guild Wars 2 cookies have been demonstrated to... there are only a few varieties. And as we can find them on the trading post, all you have to do is search cookie. And as you'll see, we've got peach cookies, sugar cookies, cherry cookies, cookie dough, blueberry. None of these cookies are appropriate for enlarging to the size of the moon, because the moon doesn't look like any of those. So, terrible theory. Go fuck yourself. That's how I feel like some of our lore community acts. How dare you make speculation about this game I also enjoy? Go fuck yourself and stop posting on the forums. That's what you get if you go to the lore forums. Good luck. Cookie lore. Yeah, we're just going to play Cookie Clicker when we crash out of this next one. Cookie Lord in chat said, you called? Ooh, Flaganti said I would, but I don't have a clone to. WP, I thought Leona Lewis was like England's mascot. Right, okay, I'm not pooing on Leona Lewis. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that some things you don't expect to be a good combination, alright? And then they end up being. Like, you know, bacon and peanut butter. Ooh, that sounds disgusting, you cry. Then you try it out and you're like, actually, I could live with this. Did you enjoy Black Desert? I do enjoy Black Desert. I'm still playing it. I'm closing in on level 30 at the moment. It's a fairly boring game in a lot of respects, though. It's not a game I'm taking seriously on any level. I actually was pretty upset 4 or 5 days ago. I was trying again to make that VR video. It just feels... Because it's not very good in VR. Basically, here's the point. It's not very good in VR. So now I'm, like, faced with making a video where... I mean, I think the reason people like the Guild Wars 2 video was because... Oh, great. I think the reason people like the Guild Wars 2 video was because it was fucking cool. And I was really excited and happy about it. And there are some phenomenal moments in Black Desert. In VR in Black Desert. They were really, really incredible. And I think I could put that headset on and I could give some legitimately, genuinely, incredibly excited moments of the game. But my general opinion of it is that it's fairly ghastly in many respects. So I don't know if a video like that works. Oh guys, here's BDO in VR. I'm here to tell you that it's crap. Don't do it. People don't want that. So I don't know. I'm really simplifying it. I've got pages and pages and pages of notes and discussion on what's good about it and what's bad about it for what it's worth. But so I'm just a bit on the fence. Because I'd love to cover a lot of VR stuff, but I don't want the second VR video I do to be something people are like, oh, I don't like this, and then they don't, you know, they don't care when they see it in their sub box again. Do you know what I mean? It's like you get a couple of shots to impress someone early on, and if you don't do it, I feel like... Well, no, actually, I don't believe that. Maybe I should just keep pushing the videos out. If it's good, you get an audience. If it's not, you don't. I don't know. Let's see. May have killed WP with that cutscene. Yeah, you did. Also, no, I've never actually had bacon and peanut butter. But there are things. I just can't think of an example. Like peanut butter Kit Kats, for example. Peanut butter Kit Kats? Are you serious? But it's good. Peanut butter Kit Kat. That's not bad. Don't you guys in the States have like peanut butter Oreos or something? Alright, here we go. We're towards the end again. I'll let other people press F on air and honor air. I won't do it. No way in hell. So far, the only thing I think helps is to just keep spamming abilities when you think that you're getting DC'd. And in this way, you don't. But it's just such nonsense. Peanut butter Oreos. Yeah, there you go. Some people like those. See? Peanut butter's good with everything. I think it's good with everything. There's probably a lot of stuff it's not good with. I don't know whether you have to honor air. No, I don't know. I mean, I did it the past 2 times because I thought maybe you had to progress it, and I wanted to get out as quickly as possible. But maybe that could have been my trap. That could have been the little honey trap there that I fell into. Skip. Okay, good. Here we go again. And get ready. I hope you all have this horrible feeling in the pits of your stomachs right now. Because, yeah, we're going to have to do it again. If this breaks. So, I hope you're feeling what I'm feeling. Oh, I like how we could still hit him there. That was interesting. I also love that tail, and I wish they put that on more mobs. Speaking of the whole pocket raptor thing, I think that absolutely deserves to have much more use in future encounters. Alright. I'm not honoring her. No way. No way, Jose. I'll just throw gunk at her body. Go on, Bram. Get in there. I love this now that it's got the purple AoE around it. It's really cool. The pew pew sound. Make it stop. No, never. Bram, I'm sorry. Hey, WP. You're still aiming for the first tier of the legendary fractal back piece for Zero to Hero because you'll need 2 of these balls of dark energy for it, and you get them only from salvaging ascended items, which might end up being more expensive than crafting something more similar to the quiver of 1,000 arrows on Mordry. Yeah, someone on the VODs, VOD people were talking about this. They said in the comments that actually the fractal back piece probably isn't the best thing to go for. From that collection. And I read that and I was disheartened, should we say. And I just felt a bit bad. So, I haven't really, I don't know what we're doing, guys. I'll keep getting the things and then we'll see how it goes. I'll keep getting the pages. Why does the potato cam move every once in a while? Because I was holding it. That's when it loops. It moves. That's the loop right there. Oh my god. Leave Bram and head deeper into the jungle. Go. 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 Oh, is that it? Are we done? Oh, there you go. There's the cutscene. We didn't get kicked. That was what... Yes! Yes! Oh. It worked! You guys are going to think it's because we did it in a group. It's not. It's potluck. We did it! We actually got through! And I don't think I ever have to do this mission again, in theory. Until there comes a day where I need exact footage of that cutscene that we just skipped. And no one's got it online that I can steal it from. Oh my god, into Auric Basin. No cookie clicker, sorry guys. Wow, Wax pointed out Instructor NG. What was going on with that? NG, apparently you pronounce that weirdly, don't you? I think I learned that while I was Let's Playing Factions. Yeah, so pro. That was some sick-ass endgame content right there. Next mission, let's do it. Can you guys imagine a version of like the main story, the personal story, that's like hardcore mode, and it's so difficult and grueling and challenging, and there's such a high chance of getting kicked out each time. It's like you can just about struggle your way through one mission a night, and you're like, yes, oh my god, I'm at the Auric Basin, holy crap, yes, one step closer. All right, see, this is it. This is what we needed. Okay, so I've already got the novices pack. I've already got the initiates pack. This is what I need, the recruits pack. That's what we had to go for. Ready? Collection unlock. Crusaders pack. Ah, oh, that's it. There you go. Okay, so tier 1 for the exotic back piece. We need stuff. Complete the story step buried inside. This is it here, yeah. So we actually have to go to Rata Novus, so let's just keep going with the story. I thought we had to go further, yeah. Buried Insight. So we got to keep going. Buried Insight is the last mission you actually have to do. It's just you can start the collection now. Helium blaters, and that's the end of the stream. Yep. A stream dedicated to that. Now, we got about 25 minutes more. I'm going to go with this one. Just do the prototype fractal capacitor. You will need 1,950 relics and a stack of ectos, but it is the cheapest. 1,950. I wonder how many relics that account's got at this point. I wonder. Yeah, we're also really close to the next amount of AP. If I did my daily and then I did like a single jungle totem, that still wouldn't be enough. If I did my daily and escorted 30 Doliacs. And what's our reward at this threshold? Oh, the second to last Zenith skin of them all. Mace or the... What is the wake? Is that the trident? Or is that the spear or something? I don't know. But yeah, and then we'll get the pinnacle. I think pinnacle weapons will scroll on after that. I actually think pinnacle weapons are pretty prestigious. They're pretty cool. I might start using them as well. Don't you need to finish the final story instance for the exotic back piece, Wooden Potatoes? Do we? Actually, good point. Wax just said, do you have to do it on the vigil character? Now that the collection's unlocked, isn't it any man's game now? Can't I just do it on anyone I want? I think I can just go. I think I can just do it. Let's try it out. Because there's going to be a lot of padding and other stuff we have to do. Oh, what is this? Stuck on a black screen. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Let's go here. Let's swap the potato from Femtato here. Back over to Hitato. Alright. Let's see. I'm just restarting the client now. It didn't crack. That's weird. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me. But there is something kind of odd about my PC at the moment. It keeps telling me it's running out of memory. I have 16 gig of RAM. Alright? And just because I have Guild Wars 2 up and my editing software, it doesn't mean that it should be running out of memory. And yet it's telling me it is at the moment. Yeah, potatoes for some kind of meal. Yeah, because, I mean, hell if I know. Alright, here we go. We're back in, guys. We're back. What's up? What's up, everyone? Alright, so... And as you can see here, check it out. I'm on Liss. I'm outside Oola's lab in Metrica, where the events have just finished. Her soul is imbued into this golem, the Vita and Oola. It's really interesting. And she talks about, she says, I fear I may have dabbled too deeply into the necrotic arts, and it's cost me dearly. Someone would consider it my final mistake, but I consider it my greatest triumph. I've tied my very essence to the core of my golem. You meet her ghost in these events. There's no telling where this journey will take me. I've achieved the greatest feat of any golemancer. I'm one with my golem. When I die, my essence will carry on with it. If she could do this, why couldn't Zin do this? Because they're great rivals. And there are many references to Zin in this place, right? And the devs just patched it to allow people to get access to this better. So, one of the books... I don't know if the books are only here and interactable during the event. No, here you go. So, Oola's notes. Arcane Council payment. 1, blah, blah, blah. 2, blah, blah, blah. Here you go. Listen to multiple sessions of Councillor Eva talking about her feelings on various subjects. After the third session, I almost regretted getting Zin banished. Almost, but not quite. Take that, Zin. Zin was her apprentice, who founded Rata Novus, guys. Delivered previously agreed upon parts to Councillor Rex's laboratory. Note to self, next time replace organic components with synthetic ones. Let's go down here. Because the video I do, I really wanted to just do a tour of this place and just be like, oh, here, guys, check out this, and this. But unfortunately, I just don't have time. It's already like a half-an-hour video. It's already half an hour. I can't go in game and because this would be easily like another 10 minutes on top of it. These ancient notes have been given over to the flow of time. Oh, that's just a laundry list. Or a laundry list? A recipe list or shopping list. I think this one mentions Zin as well. You see on the desk old notes written by Oola. The temperature regulators of the lab have kept them in pristine condition. Oola's to do. Number 1, discredit Zin. Does that say Zim with an M? Is that a typo? The old coot for burning my books in public. Number 2, interestingly as well, she interacts with necromancers. Perfect golem crystal power siphons using necromancy. Note, remember to ask Livia about necromancy beside manners. You know, so Livia could step in on the Zin story. She could step in on the White Mantle story. Oola's notes over here. The secrets of necromancy. Make sure target is completely dead. Half-dead targets don't reanimate correctly. Smarter subjects in life do not necessarily make smarter undead subjects. Love your work, but avoid falling in love with your work. Vloxian sauce is not to be used in embalming fluid. Kind of cool to see a player here. Here we'll actually put the dialogue in here.
At long last, after years of trial and error, I successfully combined golemancy and necromancy. I'll innovate a new line of golems, all infused with necromantic energies. This opens worlds of possibilities. The only question is, where do I go now? My golems can tap into the power of life and death. With a sufficiently strong core, there's no limit to the potential. I can think of only one source that would be the true height of control and power. But do I dare? What would be the repercussions?
Alright, you see? It's very interesting, the stuff she says. It was like the event's going on, and the bit where the event usually fails because people get killed didn't fail, which is good. There is another reference to Zin somewhere in here. There's another reference. But basically, her research into golemancy brought her into necromancy, and the story of Zin is that he randomly founded Rata Novus. Why? We didn't know anything about him caring about making a city. He was just a golemancer. Well, hold on.
That looks interesting.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is that he was doing this dodgy shit. Questionable shit. Morally, ethically questionable stuff. He needed a place to hide with among his peers, where he could continue his research unharmed. And that's what he did. He founded Rata Novus. And then what's really interesting is how it then turned from that into an Elder Dragon research place.
5-Omega. I don't have much time. This will probably be my last log entry. I have no regrets. I made significant breakthroughs, but I fear I may have dabbled too deeply into the necrotic arts, and it has cost me dearly. Some would consider it my final mistake, but I consider it my greatest triumph. I have tied my very essence to the core of my god.
Alright, her ghost is over here.
It's not like that, I swear.
I have achieved the greatest feat of any god.
My greatest achievements will not fall into your hands. I'll see to that.
99L. When I die, my essence will burn off.
Error.
Feel the
Code
burn.
46. Logic fault. Combat mode terminated.
Somebody asked, where is this
Go
in
ahead,
Metrica? I've never
quickly.
stumbled on it. It's in a lab here, but the lab's usually locked. You need to get lucky to get in with a drop that appears only in Metrica Province.
Interesting. Please, we don't want to fight.
How interesting.
Oh, it won't be much of a fight. Did you think that was my last line of defense?
Greetings.
Engage automated defenses. You will not abscond with my inventions.
Quick, grab what you can get. This situation is about to get very complicated.
Well, not really. We can
Embrace
just stand around there.
simplicity. Always be loyal to your crew.
So yeah. Oola in her lab. Great nemesis of Zin. So, who thinks that Zin might be in the inner chamber, in the inner door at Rata Novus? Well, and I can show you that side of the story now. So basically, Oola, that ghost, she banished Zin, who was her apprentice. Zin got angry. He helped out the humans, learned about the Masat and the Seers, and then later went... Okay, well, no. He got banished. No, okay. He was inventing golems, and he had a secret base here. Down here, actually, right? In Auric Basin. We'll go to the secret base. And a mysterious stranger approaches him and basically tricks him into building golems with new, like, energy crystals and power that would then go and try to assassinate leaders of the human world. So this mysterious stranger had nefarious intent. We never found out who that mysterious stranger is who manipulated Zin. But for his crimes here, Zin gets banished from Asuran society. Oola constructs it. It's a sham trial, really.
Feel the burn.
Oola doesn't really like Zin anyway, because, you know, she's threatened by his ability as a Golomancer, just as much as his. All the people are in Oola's lab just because it's just because it's Guild Wars 2. That's what people do. They run around in events, and the rare ones are cool.
Flash freeze.
It's just the activity of the game. I know it might be hard to believe, but don't forget that's an early level zone. And with any luck, ArenaNet are properly marketing new players, and you'll see new players running around in there. You do find a lot of them there are like quite ungeared, smaller Surin characters, which is nice. But so Zin gets kicked out. At this point, he goes and he fights in the Crichton Civil War. And he learns about the Seers. He extracts information from them. He learns how to infuse his armor. He learns about the Masat too. The Masat themselves, who are great manipulators of souls, and had their own golem variants. And as far as we were concerned in Guild Wars 1, that was the end of his story. Oola went off into her lab and did all that stuff we just saw in Guild Wars 2. But Guild Wars 2 has an Ascended Trinket that talks about how Zin now was looking into working with souls. And then Heart of Thorns comes out. And in Heart of Thorns, you can go back to a secret lab, which is down here. At the bottom of this waterfall. I'll just quickly show it to you. I mean, you're literally getting like a shittily produced live, longer version of tonight's video right now. You guys are. So here, check it out, right? And here's one of Zin's golems. It's an OX golem. He says, what an unlikely find. Wonder whose secret lair this was. It looks to be centuries-old Golomancy lab. We found OX etched into a golem here, which seems to be a designation that I should recognize. If only I'd paid more attention in history class. All right? All modern-day golems are based on designs by Snaf, by the way. This is what a badass Snaf is. All these characters I'm talking about that did all this cool shit we've gotten, they didn't touch what Snaf did way later, but whatever. All right? So this is his lab, and we don't get to go in. And the important bit of dialogue is this. When this is over, we should bring a Priory team in here to investigate. All right? Living World Season 3, in theory. All right, so what did Zin do after the Crichton Civil War? Well, he came to the Tangled Depths. And he came to this place here, Rata Novus. I'm going to have the same issue here in this mission, guys, where I might get kicked. So if you would like to party and play with me, if you think grouping, I'm open to the idea that maybe grouping with you guys helped out. If you want to play this with me, come play it with me. But so we have to play this now. So, Buried Insight. So in Guild Wars 2, when you're in the Auric Basin, you find out that the Exalted Exalted became active just a few years after the end of Guild Wars 1, remember? Well, when they became active, they found out about Zin, who was also active in this area of the world, at Rata Novus, and they collaborated and they built this leyline map, remember? And Rata Novus was on one of the leyline hubs, Morgemoth was on another, and I think Tarir is the other one in the Maguma jungle. Anyway, so they collaborated, and Zin had actually built a city for himself down here. And you go to Rata Novus hoping that you'll get help against the Elder Dragons from the Asura who presumably live here. But when you arrive, the local Nuhawk say, Rata Novus, what are you talking about? Are you referring to the Pit of Despair? And you're like, the Pit of Despair? They're like, yeah, the old Asuran city that's destroyed and overran by Chak. And, you know, is completely sealed on all sides by Chak goo and shit and hives, where it's just been completely destroyed. And you're going to have to melt your way in. Yeah, that place? Alright, you can go there if you like, but nobody ever comes back alive. You arrive, and you find this giant empty chamber that we are now currently stood in. And then there's two stories. There's the story of Agent Zildi, the Asura, who arrives here in the open world, and there's a meta event where she reactivates the city's defenses and reconfigures them. And here you learn that it was about 150 years ago this place got destroyed, so it existed for maybe 80 to 100 years. Before it got destroyed. So about 150 years ago it got destroyed. As you run around, you find notes from the peacemakers, notes on their understanding of the these reports here, notes about the fall of the place. The Chak continue to prove resilient. The Chak continue to prove resilient. Our surface-based defenses show their advances at a time, but it seems we underestimated their ability to burrow. To steal the weakness, I've established a perimeter of seismic disruptors, eat that bugs. Complete schematics of these devices available for review and scrutiny, but in layman's terms, they send a pulsing vibration that disorients the Chak. This grid covers the entire city, so no one needs to worry about the Chak bursting through the ground, assuming there are no more power fluctuations in the perimeter defenses. But there's some other notes make it clear that there were power fluctuations. The city became subject to regular blackouts, and the Chak managed to get in and destroy them. And then there's this mission we're about to do here. So that's the open world stuff. And then there's the personal story stuff, which we're about to do now, where Timey arrives here, and presumably happens just before the open world stuff. And Timey is sort of investigating her level, and that's what we're going to do now. And there's a hidden achievement in this. This is really, really, really cool. And we need to do this for the back piece as well, so why not? Let's talk about it. Minty Fresh said, what if the Chak go to the surface? Well, they do. They do go to the surface. And what's actually kind of cool is the word Chak. You guys might think that that's a Rata Novan term, because they're the ones that were obliterated by the Chak. Blah, 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 blah. This stupid vibrating bug as well. This is so annoying. Why haven't they fixed this either? It's little things like that that drag the quality of it down. You're just looking at it and you're like, was there no QA check on this? Were they that pressed for time? But, it's like the game is just so full of bugs. It's just bursting at the seams, right? Alright, let's go on down here. What was I saying? Yeah, the Chak. You'd think it's a Rata Novan term, but it's not. It's a Nuhawk term. It's what the Nuhawk call them. When the Chak first started aggressing those in Rata Novus, it was just the Chak. It was just it was the Nuhawk that told them about them. They're like, oh, these are those things, these bugs that the Nuhawk called Chak. So the Nuhawk had been dealing with them more, or the Hylek. I think it's Hylek. I don't think it's Nuhawk. I think Nuhawk were in the jungle at that time. Don't forget that the Nuhawk are aliens to this area of the world. All right, so you got the main mission. That's cool. What's even cooler is underwater. There's a few hidden things here for an achievement. And again, it's like Halo 3 with the terminals. It's so cool. And this is the most interesting one we can go to straight away. So as you are here learning about the fall of the people or whatever, and their destruction to the Chak, you get these terminals. Now, this is really crazy. Listen to this. This console is weathered and the screen's faded, but you can see that there's one last user entry, which seems to be a message from one Asura to another. You can read the message. It says, Carla, where are you? You're worse than those bookers on the surface. The threat is worse than we forecasted. The city council has been misleading us. I'm going to try your other console. So it seems that the city council were fucking with people or something, or they were hiding about the threat and they got a shit ton of load of people killed. Some people have taken this reference to the Bookers as a literal reference, that there are some humans with a vested stake in the downfall of Rata Novus or something. I think this is just a generic, oh, humans are stupid, we're talking about them in a generic sense. I think that's what that means. And there's another one as well. You get both Asura's perspectives. There's another one down here. There's a few, actually. There's like... Before you swim down, there is another one as well, I think. I don't remember where they are anymore. But anyway, down here there's another one. You just want to make sure you reflect to break the turrets, because these turrets do actually sincerely hurt. Oh, they're not active right now. Oh, that's really cool, because we haven't done the mission. So this console's barely functional, save for a screen that displays a single entry, which appears to be a message from one Asura. Carla, Eternal Alchemy, the city is going to erupt under our feet any day now, and you're playing childish games with me. I'm headed towards the control room. I hope you see this in time. I actually think we might meet Carla and Posk. Well, maybe not, no, because it's so long ago. Whatever. No, we won't. We won't. But it's these two Asura who are caught up in the destruction of the city china. I think one of them is the Asura Gate operator. So they set up that the Rata Novans fled out of an Asura Gate Alpha, and they went somewhere else. And what this achievement does is it shows you where that Asura Gate took them. So talk about that in a second. Yeah, you get rolled parchment from these. This note is faded and worn, but you can make out reference to impending danger, and the author pleads with an unknown party to meet in the lower labs. This paper is smudged by what looks like blood. So I think the lower labs is where we're going to be able to go. So we'll do the mission. I'll tell you guys how it goes. Where is Destiny's Edge 2.0? I wanted to trigger this, but before we went underwater. Ariam said, WP, you always get me motivated to keep me playing. Oh, thank you. Did I mention this yesterday? Someone left a comment on one of my videos saying, because I did a video talking about what Elder Dragon we might get next, and someone left a comment saying, insider information points to the Fire Island chain being next. So do consider that with your predictions. Now, a lot of you are immediately going to hear something like that, and you're going to be like, come on, that's just bollocks. It's just someone joking. It's just someone messing about with no cause for it. But it's so specific and random. People don't just do that, generally speaking. Like, you know, I read thousands upon thousands upon thousands of comments over my weeks, right? You don't generally see people do that kind of stuff. And when you do, quite often it is true. So I don't know, maybe there is some insider leaking going on that is the Fire Island chain. Regardless of that or not, you know, let's not dig into the conspiracy theories after we were so rude to conspiracy theorists yesterday. All I want to do, though, is, because I read that, it did make me think, Fire Island chain. Why Fire Island chain? And actually, it's kind of perfect in a lot of ways. It's a natural progression from the Masat storyline in the raid. And the region itself, it's a natural progression with Ritlock and his current stories about Sahothin, and that being one of the big mysteries that they're hanging over our head, right? A natural progression there. Geographically, it's close, and potentially a natural progression out of the Dragon's Stand. And in terms of the region size, it's actually kind of the perfect size, right? Because, like, you know, you got one map for season, 2 map, maybe 3 maps across the entire season. It works. It's a good, like, isolated, not too large, little region of the world that the living world can take us to and explore in its entirety and fully. Don't you guys think? And then you kind of got the idea, what are the Heart of Thorns expansion areas, WP? What are those? Well, it's all this shit. Kind of thing, right? I don't know. It was interesting. It was something I was thinking of. Noodle Fox said I'm off to bed. Catch you later, chat, WP. Catch you later. Have a good night's sleep. Or maybe WP has insider info that it's going to be crap talking alone. Trust me, they would be foolish to risk something like that. We'll see, though. You know, if it ends up the Fire Island chain, you guys will think back to the stream and you'll be like, oh, okay. And we know that some assholes are leaking all kinds of stuff. It's usually the douchebags in the privileged guilds that get to raid test when they can't keep it in their pants. And that's a bit of a shame. Nah, new map, new places, South Sun, baby. Oh, you want them to just invent another new island again, right? Just, let's... I really want to be... I want a camera feed into some of the meetings they've had. I want to know what that meeting was like when they were like, right, we've just released, what do we want to do? Halloween's done. Let's add a new place to the game. What should we do, guys? I want to know how that conversation went. When someone had the audacity to say, let's invent an entirely new place and just fucking throw it in there for no reason. I guess they did it because they were scared that they were testing the waters, and they didn't want to, you know, put out, you know, they weren't sure of the quality or their capabilities, so they didn't want to, like, accidentally, they didn't want to, you know, put a black stain on a real area of Tyria. So let's just invent a new kind of makeshifty little thing for ourselves. It's just so unashamed, right? Like, you don't see many franchises do the kind of thing that they do with Southside. Or maybe you do. Maybe I'm just being mean. I need to finish this season, but I can't get myself to play. Finish this season? What season? There's no season going on. There's not World versus World season. There's not PvP season. There's not 11 World season. Do you guys like that, by the way, that there's a season across each thing? I like that. Hey, WP, long-time viewer. Is there any room in the Spud Club? No, but I'll kick someone so that you can join. If you 100% rep, come to all the guild missions and donate lots and lots of money every single day. Every day. Then you can join. Those are the new rules for the Spud Club. No, it's fine. You can join. You just send me a whispering game. You answered all the instructor questions right, WP. No, I didn't. I got one of them wrong. I got two of them wrong. One of them I legit got wrong, I think, and the other one I got wrong because the devs had made a mistake, or it was like weirdly worded or something. I don't think I'm talking about the Doom thing either right now, by the way. But yeah, I did go wrong. And there's some of them were one of them was quite. There's like 2 places you answer questions, I think, or something. I think there's like an event that does it as well. Anyway, one of them was like really obscure. It was like it's like a polymock question. And the answer is, who is the Grandmaster Polymock player who you'd return to all the time in the Guild Wars 1 quests that would give you all your Polymock pieces and stuff and was like the final Polymock boss? What was his name? And it was like Blop, Hoff, Tok, or some shit. And I think the answer's Hoff, but I didn't know that off the top of my head. I don't know. Masteries are hard. They nerfed everything in hot to the ground. More XP gained, less experience needed, less HP needed, easier grind, more loot. How is that even remotely considered hard? Yeah, I don't think Heart of Thorns is like. I don't know what my stance is, but it's not entirely positive. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, you need to make it all really hard and really long all the time for the player retention, blah 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 blah. But I mean, I really had no problem. So many people tell me they have problems with the not the experience for masteries, but the actual hero points for masteries. The fact that they're getting the points. This is what people hate about it. People can't do it. It's too hard. It's too hard to get the points. And I never had any problems with that at all. And I don't know, is it just because my perspective going into the expansion was different to your average person? I feel like you have to be really rushing and really just like running around cluelessly, paying no attention with an absolute disregard to all events and content available to you, and like be really closed-minded about what you're going to play. You know, like just offhandedly decide at the start, I'm not going to do any adventures because blah blah for like some weird reason. I feel like you have to be really. But so many people are in that position where they're like, oh, it's the mastery points that I hate. It's like, do you not want to play a varied content? Do you not want to engage your brain and, like, you know, dissect and look at what's in the game and, you know, give each adventure maybe more than one little tiny pass through? Do you not want to go for some of the achievements in the maps? I mean, what is your play style here? And then they'll complain that, you know, it's too hard because I just don't understand that. But there's a lot of people who say that, so I can understand that my view of masteries might be a little bit from the experience side might be slightly off because I used boosters eventually, but I only used boosters when I got right near the end. I didn't use any boosters for most of my time playing through the game. I didn't use any boosters. It was only towards the end that I used boosters. And I found it was all perfectly fine. Yeah, like, I mean, is it that hard to get a strong box, really? By the way, guys, this bug that's been hitting us, this is the worst mission in the game for it. This mission is really bad for the bug. It's a really long mission, and it hit me like 5 or 6 times when I first played through. Really bad. We have an overabundance of reflects in this group. quite magnificent. I'm still level 7 in the Masteries. That's how much hot gripped me. So, not very much. It's like I say, alright, the spring patch, okay, and again, I'm trying really hard to not sound like a snob or something. The spring patch was a really good patch that clearly got a lot more people back into the game, playing the game, and it wasn't even like a short-lived thing where people just came back and flooded away very quickly. It seems people are still genuinely really active, and this was a patch that people really enjoyed. I never, and I've said this before, I never would have identified that reducing, making everything super easy in Heart of Thorns maps was what the game needed. I never would have identified that was the thing that most upset people about the expansion, ever. It would never have been a priority, and I would have been wrong. Because I just don't see those problems. I just don't see why that's such a... Anyway, check it out. So this is the last terminal. This terminal is surprisingly fully functional. And the screen contains a single text entry written in the form of an operator's log. Engineer Posk, log number 4399. The insectoid creature come in great numbers. Sorry, greater numbers. City leaders and citizens flee deeper into the facility. I'm to maintain the gate as long as possible. Is this to be my end? And you've got these printed pages here which you can collect, which give you another thing. The purpose of this note is cryptic, the containing esoteric formula, blah, blah, blah. This is where we might get kicked on the Bram fight. This is the first one. The second one's Scruffy. And then the third one is the final conversation with Scruffy at the end, similar to the air thing, where if we do the wrong thing, we'll get kicked. But basically, these 3 notes you can find in this mission, you combine it together to find the eventual code. It's Salad Man said, no MMO has gripped me at all, and I feel sad, man. Oh. That is sad. That's a shame. It's because MMOs are so big. I can think of my perfect MMO quite easily in my mind. You know, if I sat down with a pen and paper, I could jot out so many things that I think, oh, this would be my perfect MMO. No game, no MMO has ever existed that has this blend of features that would be my wood and potatoes perfect game. But with such a big thing, you cannot have a single vision like that go through. You just can't. Everything's going to be designed by committee at some point. Well, not everything, but a lot of it. And a lot of it's going to change and morph and shift from its original idea. And I suppose you're supposed to learn that that's a good thing, right? When you're in development, you're supposed to appreciate that. Because, yeah, your original ideas might change in a way you don't like, but in many cases, your bad ideas won't get through too, so you need to understand, need to have a bit of humility about yourself. You know, MMOs are just so large. WP, have you been hearing about the Chronicles of Elria Kickstarter? A lot of interesting stuff they're planning to do. Well, yeah, I was browsing our MMORPG, and I saw a thread where people were bitching about Black Desert Online. And I saw people... Okay, we're still here. This is good. Skip that. I saw a thread where people were bitching about Black Desert Online, and everyone was like, oh, it's just the next in the bandwagon. It's the next everyone's going to do. And they were pointing to that game you just mentioned, Chronicles of Elria. That's apparently the next big bandwagon MMO. Apparently that's the next one on the list. It is literally like a nice big conga line. The thing is, I think MMOs get a lot of slack for that, and it's a bit unfair because all games are a big fucking long conga line of people zerging from one game to the next, to the next, to the next. It doesn't have to be such a big deal, but it is with MMOs because of the whole perceptions about how the game's dead the second you get out of it because of, the whole subscription fee thing. And an MMO kind of needs to retain an audience to feel populated. But, MMOs get so much slack. MMO audiences get so much, judgment thrown at them for, oh, I'm doing this. This is the hot new thing. Now this is the hot new thing. Now, but it's the same in all of gaming. And you're a prick if you think that's not true. Because it is true. People will bandwagon from this FPS to the next FPS to the next FPS, or this RPG to this RPG to this next RPG. Whether it's... And that's not even thinking about the fact that most of these games are franchises where obviously people are going to bandwagon from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. No, I mean, I've tried all of them, but none of them give me the draw that Pre-Hot gave me. So what's your problem with Guild Wars 2 after Heart of Thorns? Because I think a lot of what made Guild Wars 2 strong before Heart of Thorns is absolutely still at play and still functioning after Heart of Thorns. It's not like Heart of Thorns came and deleted the core world and deleted... Well, I was going to say dungeons there. But that's a rabbit hole maybe we don't need to go down. It's not like, generally speaking, the game is as it was. And that's why I still, you know, $50 for Heart of Thorns. If you've never played Guild Wars 2, it's fucking insanely awesome, supreme value. It doesn't matter any criticisms that Heart of Thorns has. Like, just the fact you get so much with it. But, I suppose, a fly almost just flew in my mouth there. But I suppose in so much it's free to play now, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, like, the game's still there, so what's so bad? Here we go, this is our next big get kicked moment. Can't even skip this one. ArenaNet are forcing us to cry now over this inanimate object we've had no time to, you know, relate to. Do you have Glint's achievement with Shield Rivard Revenant? No, I don't think so. Do you think Heart of Thorns has an okay density of enemies per area? I remember some areas in Guild Wars 1, like factions, were just ridiculous. Couldn't move an inch without getting into fight. Yeah, I think that's one of the big things factions did wrong. And of course, one of the things that nostalgic Guild Wars 1 players have forgotten about. Because it's easy to gloss over stuff like that. But yeah, factions had over-aggro syndrome big time. It was fucking terrible. Really bad. You couldn't move. You're right. It's kind of a trap you can fall into where you think the only value that a game offers is in its combat. I think both players and developers do that alike. You can start to think, oh, the essence of my game is the combat. It's all about the combat, 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 combat. So obviously, if I put lots of combat in, that's the perfect experience, right? They don't realize what's actually making your game fun is the decent mix of on versus off with the combat and the amount of exploration versus the amount of items and looting people are getting versus the amount of crafting people are doing versus the amount of socializing people are doing. A good MMO is when you've struck a decent balance between all of those things, not just way too much combat. And factions, they definitely got the balance wrong. Factions, it was just pure over-aggro syndrome, more, you know, dodging patrols eternally. Just mayhem, really. But for Heart of Thorns, what do I think? I think I still get annoyed in Guild Wars 2 that so often I'll log in on a character and I feel like I can't stand still ever. I can't just alt-tab out. When you're just generally wandering around the jungle, you don't have the freedom of just tabbing out for a moment because you're going to get killed by something quickly. That eternally frustrates me, but I don't know whether that's a problem with mob density or mob difficulty so much as it's a problem with waypoints, I guess, or, you know, the player exploration and what we as players view as I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe you guys get the essence of what I'm trying to say. I feel like it's a balance of some other things. It's not just mob density. But yeah, I think it's okay. Maybe a little on the high end. Maybe the issue is compounded when you also make maps that are heavily focused on, you know, one specific type of meta event chain. It's weird. I'm actually struggling with the mastery points. The experience comes as long as you're playing, but I've been hunting the points for the last ones, and I am happy about that. Yeah, no, that's cool as well. I agree with that. What I actually really liked, I'm in the mastery system for one reason. Okay, I'm in the mastery system for two reasons. Number one, it is progression. I do think progression is important in an MMO. I like the idea of unlocking additional abilities for my character. I like what it offers an MMO in terms of player retention. I like that stuff, and I'm not too offended by that stuff. But number two, the reason I'm in it is I'm in it for the Metroidvania. I'm in it so that I can walk up to a place, see an obstacle, have no way of getting past it, and coming back later and being a badass and getting past whatever this problem was. Whether it's a door I can't unlock, whether it's a cliff I can't glide over, whether it's a ladder I don't know how to climb, whatever, right? As long as it's vaguely flavorful and makes sense, I'm happy with it. That's what I'm in it for. And you do not get the Metroidvania experience if you get so many mastery points handed to you on a plate that they never become a mechanic. For this to be a valuable mechanic and valuable currency, there has to be a moment where you don't have enough to unlock your next thing. It has to become relevant. So I like that. I like that it's not, that you have that moment. I think that's cool. And I'm really happy there that you just said in chat that you're happy about it as well. Because I think that's what makes the system good. I have a feeling that people who complain about the mastery points, they get to that point where they don't automatically have it handed to them on a plate, and then that's when they complain. It's like, but no, this is good. You now have to appreciate this is a part of the game, you dummy. Play with it. All right, the game's asking you to get some mastery points. Why don't you explore a little? Why don't you go on some adventures? The game's job isn't... all right. Let's not get too loud about this. But yeah, I like it. By the way, WP, why are you still at Mastery 130? Good question. Because I've had no incentive to level these. I have a little incentive. Well, Legendary Crafting's only so high because it's just been on while I've done stuff. I've played very little Corteria. Fractals is mostly where you get these. You get these super easy. These come like nothing if you play Fractals. They just arrive, right, really quickly. But I haven't Fractals since Heart of Thorns because I think Fractals are a bit of a mess and I don't foresee myself get much joy there. So this is just, yeah, I got Pact Commander when, from some Silver Wastes at the start, I think. But never even went to these NPCs, so I've had no motivation to do this stuff. I do eventually want to do a Mastery review video. And that's going to be one of my things. I think the Corteria Masteries have all been a bit shit. That's why I don't have them, because I don't, as a player, feel much draw to them. If I ever get them, I'll be getting them by accident. How come you rage about it and then not even have 166? Again, because, well, hopefully I just explained. And I'm not raging about it either. I like the system. It's possible to like the system and appreciate the value it offers without actually having it mastered. I see what you're saying. You're like, well, if you like it so much, why haven't you got them all? Because these are designed very differently to the Heart of Thorns ones. The Heart of Thorns ones have all been really fun, right? Like, each one has unlocked something new for me to get, something new I could do, a new place I could explore, a new dialogue from an NPC or something like that. Something. A lot of it's quite weak as well, in my opinion, but yeah. All right, so here we go. The Corteria ones are unlocking stuff I don't give a shit about. Okay, so... First of all, she's going to talk about Primordus and how they had beef. But over here, you've got this terminal, this last terminal. And it says, this terminal appears to control the nearby surrogate. There are a series of spaces beginning with the number 1, followed by 5 blank spots. A keypad on the terminal glows softly, awaiting input. I think what it asks for is 01072. The keypad beeps and a small button on the terminal glows, waiting to be pressed. Press the button. Oh, it makes a noise resembling the dying mower and the red light blinks on the keypad. Reset it. There is a code that we need to enter. So let's find this. This is where the Rata Novus went. This is the secret. This is from combining what you learn in these notes. And hopefully Wiki will actually load for me here. Buried Insight. Here you go. So it's 01172. I messed it up. I put an O into it. The keypad beeps. It glows. It beeps 6 times and the nearby surrogate hums into life. And we can go in. And this is Living World Season 3 right here. I promise you guys. This right here, this hallway, this door leads you into the inner city, okay? People have looked at this and thought that this was some floating city because it looks like the side of Ratasuma or whatever. It's, and people have said it's got to do with the uncategorized fractal stuff. I do all the discussion on that in the video. This, I think, is an underground city, though. Even though interior 3D, you can see the wall and stuff, supposedly. This is where Zin is. This is where his kin are. This is deeper down. Maybe even Carla and Posk. This is like a Fallout vault down here. I'm sure of it. And this is what time he's going to discover and we're going to go into. Living World Season 3. So this is the idea of the video, basically. There you go. It's very cool. It's a really cool... going in there is what dings the achievement for you the first time. It's very, very, very interesting. All right, and now we turn this on and now we're very likely to crash out, so... Let's see if we actually get a back piece. Crash or no crash, this is it for the stream here, guys. So, let's see. Do you ever regret not making your alien more humanoid race? Yeah, I do, because I feel like I would care more about fashion wars too and the way I look and stuff if I wasn't a Asura. It's not just that I can't be seen by other players, I don't like being an Asura. It's just there's a lot about the way you set up your gear and stuff that just, it's thoroughly unsatisfying for an Asura. Like, choosing and obsessing over how my feet look, right? On an Asura is very different to when you do it on a Norn or a human or whatever, and it's an actual decent size proportionally of your entire character. It feels very different making an aesthetic for your character when you're an Asura compared to the others. So yeah, sometimes I do think about that and I do regret it, and it does get me, well, I wouldn't say it gets me down, but it's something I consider. A lot of this stuff can be translated, by the way. It says like brain activity and stuff like that, because they were researching Primordus. And this is really cool that it's Primordus, by the way, because the timeline, in the timeline, all that's really happened when these people were researching this is Primordus had woken up and then been stopped and then didn't do anything. And you might think, oh, well, what about all the other Elder Dragons? They weren't awake yet. When all of this was going on, they weren't awake. The Asura down here were really progressive. They may have been scummy Asura that were doing a lot of questionable research and horrible things in secrecy. But that's counterbalanced by quite a noble thing they were doing here as well with the Elder Dragons. And that is that they recognized this threat and they were tackling it. They were fighting it long ago. Oh, there you go. Sorry, Tommy. Before anyone else really cared, right? And that took brains to do that, and that was really cool. That was cool of them. And just to put this in perspective for you guys, Primordus eventually did wake up 50 years after Guild Wars 1, right? So then they were researching a lot of Primordus. It makes a lot of sense. By the time Jormag woke up, who was the second dragon, right, to do anything, the second one. So basically nothing's really kicked off just yet. Well, some stuff's kicked off, especially for the Sura who've been pushed to the surface. But yeah, Jormag wakes up, and by the time he wakes up, this city is on its last legs. They're in war against the Chuck. It's Alien 2 in here right now. It's, you know, it's action movie time here, and it's only like 7 years after Jormag wakes up that this entire place is destroyed and evacuated. 7 years. So you might think, oh, you know, they were researching all the Elder Dragons and stuff a lot. It would almost be crazy if they had any information on the other Elder Dragons, considering how inactive they'd been. So it's actually really cool what the devs did here. I dislike a lot of what the devs do here. The whole Pokemon thing, I hate it. But I do like that it's just Primordus they talk about here, because it doesn't make sense that they were, timeline-wise, looking at any other dragons. It's nice little bits of detail like that. That's what I enjoy. Okay, so we finished this, and we didn't get the back piece, right? So, Wax, I'm blaming that on you there, buddy, because you said we could do it on any character. Damn it, we gotta go back. We gotta do it on our thief. Oh, by the way, WP, I'd appreciate if you called him Zin the Amazing or Super Genius Zin, and I do think Zin would appreciate it too. Actually, I think it's Zin the Zinsational is what they called him. Is one of his names. Zin the Zinsational. Jericho asked, why are you playing the story? Not that I'm complaining, I'm just curious. I'm playing it for the back piece, the visual back piece. We gotta keep going though. We gotta do it a third time. Yeah, we got wrecked by that. That was a huge, a monumental waste of time. But there you go, guys. That was the stream for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. What's our uptime? It feels like it's been a short stream, but yeah, we're about 2 hours done. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you were an Ultra Spud, drop me a message on Twitch. I will add your Spud to the list. Thank you very much to everyone there. Hope you all had a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow, guys, for Nightfall. Should be pretty fun. Have a good one, everyone. Catch you later.